Good afternoon, everybody, on Saturday. It's December 23rd, 2023, a couple of nights before Christmas, 3:37 p.m. I hope everybody's doing well, and welcome newcomers. We've got a whole bunch of newcomers, and I appreciate all of your feedback and questions and comments, and please remember to hit the thumbs up, the like button. It helps the channel grow, get the message out there, and combats those good old algorithms that everybody's complaining about, including for a shadow ban. So if you can hit the thumbs up, comment, I will, I try to respond to everybody, or at least hit the like or a heart button to your responses. But I want to give you an update. Popcorn did return at 4 p.m. The day after I posted that video. I left comments to the people that inquired, but I just want to give you a Popcorn returned. Okay, I have no idea where he was, but he was ravenous. He was waiting in front of the building. As soon as he goes in, he heads straight for the food. I don't know if somebody grabbed him. I don't know if he was wandering around the neighborhood. I mean, the weather was kind of decent, but it was still cold, so it just didn't make sense that he disappeared, especially overnight. He's not the kind of cat that disappears overnight where you don't see him. So I'm highly suspect. In addition, our cat Paws, who showed up here a couple of years ago, has been targeted. He's been targeted for the better part of a month. And this is not the first time they have performed the exact same targeting. Now, he's the fourth cat where they do something to his immune system. He went from being perfectly healthy outside cat, to wanting to come inside, drinking a lot, losing weight. Then he started drooling, hardly walking, and he is dying. So I was going to put out this video earlier. I was in there taking care of him, cleaning him up and stuff, because he is dying. He can hardly breathe, and they have depreciated his immune system. And the cat is under 3 years old. So this is a young, healthy boy. But this is what the criminals do. And I'm going to tell you, when I woke up this morning, there was a helicopter and a small plane hovering over my house. And as soon as I walked outside, of course, it takes me a while between unlocking the doors and everything. They sprayed some kind of methane, some gas, all over my property. It was disgusting. No, it was not a leak from the house. It was something they sprayed. They also, this is an aerial attack on me personally. This is how they have been burning my grass. Okay, now in New Jersey, they actually torched it with a physical object in their hands, which could be done by a landscaper, a local person. It could be done by anybody. But here, I've got too much land for somebody to go walk around with a torch and possibly get caught up between me seeing them, the animals acting up, etc. So this is an all-out aerial attack on me. Now, who's the kind of people that can actually do that has the money to do that? Okay? But before I get into that, then I walked to the mailbox at 10 o'clock this morning, and the dump truck, now this is Saturday, there is no garbage pickup on Saturday, nowhere on the block. But it's called Waste Connection, blue truck, guy driving it. I hear him revving up in the distance before I ever got to my mailbox, which is a 3-minute walk. Revving up, so he's hanging out, waiting for me. Drives past. He shoots off some exhaust or whatever. When you hear that bang, that sounds like it's a gunshot or whatever. But this same waste truck has performed a U-turn in my driveway. Waste Connection. Okay? It's probably his own business. Waste Connection, blue truck with one headlight. Only one, brighting me. And when I'm facing it, it's the right side, so it's his left headlight. You know who that is, right? Mason, maybe InfraGard. So I wanted to respond to some of the comments that I've received on the smoke detectors. That this has been happening to a lot of people. And you guys have been replacing your smoke detectors and or asking your landlord or super to replace it. That you too have the flashing lights. And I'm going to tell you that I ended up buying handheld smoke detector lights with a battery only. They're not hardwired. They don't flash. Okay, so they're a little less expensive. Maybe they're not as reliable because, you've got to replace the battery. And most of the wired ones also have a battery, but they're hardwired, so the battery is like a backup. So I just wanted to give you the heads up that if that's happening to you too, you can purchase smoke detectors that are handheld, battery operated only. I received a comment on the predictive policing being fortune telling. Well, we all know this is targeted people. How can they predict the future of policing? How can they predict when somebody's going to commit a crime? I know. You know. They're instigating it. They have been surveilling and watching you. They're in your computer. They're in your laptop. They know what your triggers are. They're pushing all your buttons and stuff, and they are going to predict. They're going to hope that you're going to commit a crime in the future. That is predictive policing. It's all a setup. Okay, so don't buy into their nonsense garbage. If you're a targeted person, generally, you're independent, you're non-combative, you're non-aggressive. But if you get poked and poked and poked enough, what are you going to do? You're going to defend yourself, right? Just because you defend yourself doesn't mean you're going to be committing a crime. But these criminals, they're looking out for you to do anything possible, right? Predictive policing. Okay, I'm going to do a little predictive policing. I can guarantee when one of those effers is going to get sued by watching all of these YouTube channels and watching them pull over innocent people, tase them, kill them, murder them, throwing little old ladies on the floor. I can guarantee when one of those effers is going to get sued and lose his job. How about that for predictive policing? It's just a little fortune telling from Lorraine at Alternative Homesteading. Now, a lot of people have been commenting on InfraGard. I posted a video about InfraGard about 8 or 9 months ago. And some new people to the channel, I guess they've been researching, pulling up some of my videos, and they responded about InfraGard being a part of the FBI and how they're the ones that are targeting us. So I asked my favorite unbiased research, ChatGPT, who is InfraGard? What is their mission? And who do they report to? And how are they paid? InfraGard is a partnership between the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I have to say it, it's instigation. It's not investigation. They're not investigating any damn thing. Who are they investigating? My favorite Bureau of Investigation and members of the, you got to listen to this closely, folks. InfraGard is a partnership with the FBI and members of the private sector, including businesses, academic institutions, and state and local law enforcement agencies. But you can't FOIA request them. They're not subject to FOIA. Its primary purpose is to facilitate, listen to this, facilitate collaboration and information sharing to protect critical infrastructure and enhance the security of the United States. Those are the exact same words that you're going to find on the Fusion Center website, Homeland Security. You're going to find that everywhere. I'm going to repeat that. Its primary purpose is to facilitate collaboration and information sharing to protect critical infrastructure, meaning their organized crime group, and enhance the security of the United States, which is a crock of BS. So the information sharing that they're doing is they're helping the fusion centers disseminate the slander, defamation, both on the internet and in your community to your neighbors, your rat snitch neighbors. So the key aspects of InfraGard include their mission. Okay, listen to their mission. Information sharing. They facilitate exchange of information between government and private sector partners to protect critical infrastructure from cyber threats and other security risks. As far as their training and education go, it provides members with training and educational opportunities to enhance their understanding of current threats and best practices in cybersecurity and infrastructure protection. You hear that? That's how they get trained. They're trained and educated by the FBI to provide its members with training and education opportunities to enhance their understanding of the current threats, which the threats are targeted individuals, and their best practices in cybersecurity, meaning how they troll the internet to harass you, and infrastructure, which is their infrastructure, their organized crime group, so they're protecting their own butts. Collaboration. They promote collaboration and coordination among its members, only their members. They foster a network of professionals, oh yeah, I beg to differ, dedicated to enhancing the resilience of critical infrastructure. Membership. InfraGard's membership includes individuals from various sectors such as information technology, energy, finance, healthcare, transportation, and more. Members are typically professionals who have a vested interest in protecting critical infrastructure. They have a vested interest in protecting their own self-interests, their own little organized crime, hate crime group, vigilante group, paid for hire criminals, revenge for hire. The funding and structure. InfraGard is a nonprofit. Oh, this is getting good, folks. They're a nonprofit, and its chapters are funded through membership dues and contributions from the public and private sector entities. The membership may have associated fees, and the funds are generally used to support chapter activities, events, and infrastructure protection initiatives. So guess what, folks? As a nonprofit, now, we don't know if they're a public or a private nonprofit. I guarantee that they're a private nonprofit, which means that requesting regular information from them through the IRS and stuff may not prove beneficial. However, if InfraGard is not doing the things that they're supposed to do as a nonprofit, you can report them to the IRS and they could lose their nonprofit status. So their reporting structure. While InfraGard collaborates closely with the FBI, it is important to note that InfraGard is not a government entity. It operates as a partnership, and its members do not have law enforcement authority. Hear that? Its members do not have law enforcement authority. InfraGard members may report suspicious activities or incidents to the appropriate authorities, including the FBI as needed. In summary, InfraGard's mission is to enhance the security and resilience of critical infrastructure through information sharing, collaboration, and training. It is funded by its members and operates as a partnership between the FBI and the private sector entities, with a focus on protecting the nation's vital infrastructure from various threats. How ambiguous and innocuous is that, folks? So I'm going to tell you what the private sector entities are. These are the people that want revenge on somebody. Oh, you pissed off your lawyer, you pissed somebody off, somebody's in a position of authority, part of government or whatever. They want to get revenge on you. Not just once. They want to do it for the rest of your life. Starting 15 years ago. They want to do it once, twice. They want to kill all your animals. They want to steal your property. They want to damage your property. And money is no object. Money's no object because they're funded privately and through the FBI, which is government funded. So make no mistake that the FBI is funding InfraGard. InfraGard is the right arm of the FBI, okay? And the FBI gets government, federal funding through Congress. I think Congress needs to investigate InfraGard, okay? I think with the FISA 702 and the FBI and all of that, they're getting on. everybody's overlooking this InfraGard partnership with the FBI. InfraGard is the scapegoat for my favorite Bureau of Investigation. They are the scapegoat. And I heard from another member, I guess several months ago, that they were actually created for plausible deniability. And also because it makes them feel so special. They give them fake badges and stuff. So these are the criminals that might be going around to your neighbors too. It makes them feel so special that they're part of something, right? So they are a membership. They're another club, you know, sort of like the Freemasons. They're another nonprofit organization. And I'm going to say there might be some overlapping here where members of InfraGard are also a Freemason. I don't know that to be true. It's just just a guess. It's a very possible that they're in the same clubs, that they belong to two different memberships. It's very possible. And InfraGard is a nonprofit organization. Usually nonprofits are required to, upon request, provide you with financial information, unless they are a private nonprofit, and then they do not have to disclose as much information. Now, I wanted to give you some other news, and I heard this from, Patrick Humphrey. He's, he's a YouTube creator. He's a guy who comes out there with the news and stuff, and he says that there's going to be a lot of trade embargoes and sanctions on ships coming into the ports here. And the ships are carrying the following items. So the following items that I'm going to mention might be very difficult to get in the not too distant future. So you might want to purchase them. Okay? Toys, appliances, palm oil, rice, tea, chemicals, steel, power generators, wires, and batteries. And just think of what I just stated: steel, power generator, wires, and batteries, and all of the things that that utilize those items. Okay, toys, appliances, palm oil, rice, tea, chemicals, steel, power generators, batteries, and wires. That there may be in the not too distant future trade embargoes and sanctions on these items being transported into the United States, that some of these ships are not allowing entry. Okay, so this is very important. And I wanted to mention also that a targeted person sent me something that she found on her property. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pull it up now. My laptop is extremely slow, and I've been spending literally hours backing it up because it's so slow, it's so old, and the criminals have obviously done a lot of damage to it. When I moved here, it was working just fine. And then I remember a specific time last year, and also when my mother passed away, when I came back, I think somebody was in it. And it became extremely, extremely slow. Even though I've been deleting documents and photos and stuff, there's something not right. There's just something not right. But anyway, she sent me a photo of a tiny little wire, a pointed wire, that was wrapped with more wire on blades of grass on her property. It would be so difficult to find this. I don't even know how she found it, but she's the one lucky woman that she did find it, sent a photo. It's not popping up now. Like, I can't even populate my photos right now. Let me see if I can get in here. But when I do, I think what I will do, if I find it, I can make it the thumbnail of either this video or a video in the future or a short, because I want you to see these little devices that they're planting. It could be around your apartment. If you live in a rented house, you may have these little tiny wires in your grass, and they're it's like an antenna. They're using these as an antenna to target you. Okay, so I will find it. I know where it's located. I'm just having a really hard time like pulling anything up, like even getting in and out of my emails has been a challenge. I wanted to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. I know there are a lot of people going to be alone, celebrate Christmas Eve, are busy now, celebrate Christmas Day. Just know that there's always an angel watching over you. And these crimes are being exposed every day. Another YouTube creator I watch is MD Creekmore. I was not alerted to his last video. I wonder why. It was called This Is So Evil. And when I listened to it today, I was so glad that he spoke on this topic. He was talking about the technology to alter one's behavior modification. About that the military is using it on the people. He also mentioned about the radio frequencies causing people to fall asleep intentionally. Yes. Sleep technology. You know for sure that I left several messages under his channel. So go give a watch to MD Creekmore. Great guy. He's a prepper. He has a bunch of chickens on his property. He loves animals. He's wrote a couple of books on prepping. Smart guy, a truther. And watch his latest video on This Is Really Evil, or something to that effect, about the technology being utilized on the people to alter behavior and put them to sleep. So, given that, we're going to wrap this up for now. I look forward to your questions and comments. And also, the video that he posted, the short video on the vagina chip. Yes, these psychopaths have microchips to chip your vagina so that they could see how it works on the inside and out. And I guarantee there's one for the penis, guys. We can't leave you guys out. They've got a microchip for everything. That's what psychopaths do. They want to know how we work, because we work differently than they do. So they've got to check us out from the inside out, trying to alter what we do. So, yes, so this morning at 10 a.m., Waste Connection blue truck drove by me as I was getting my mail, flashing his one headlight. Between 7:30 and 8 a.m., a helicopter and a small plane were hovering over my house. And there was some gaseous, just noxious chemical sprayed over my property. And they're the ones that are burning the grass, I believe. From above. Compliments of your tax dollars. For all you people out there that don't believe this is happening, my name is Lorraine. I lived at 52 Sutton Drive in Manalapan, New Jersey, in a home I lived in for 30 years as the original owner. I became targeted there. I worked my butt off. I was married. I got divorced. I have a daughter who has 2 master's degrees, and yes, I raised her all by myself. So not all parents who raise their children alone have rotten kids. Okay? I did everything for my daughter, between being the cookie mom for the Girl Scouts and the brownies and ballet and soccer and all of those things. We had parties and all of those things, you know. So my daughter, yes, she's got 2 master's degrees. She was going to get a PhD, and she decided against it during the CV lockdowns. She was actually teaching at the university, and she was teaching a lab. And they told her, okay, you have to go home and teach online. She absolutely hated it. How do you teach lab online? She liked the interaction. And then she ended up, like, within a year, she resigned. She says, I cannot deal with teaching online. I want to teach in person, So, yeah, she's a university professor. And so we did something right? So anyway, during those years, I went through a horrendous divorce. It lasted 3.5 years. You would think that my husband and I were some kind of celebrities with a lot of money where a lawyer would have to drag out our divorce that long. I hired a woman, a female, who I liked. I interviewed with her. And I'm just going to tell you the law firm. I am. It was Lomuro, Davison, Eastman, and Munoz. That's what it was called back then. And the woman that I hired, she was really nice. But unfortunately, unbeknownst to me, after I gave them my retainer retainer amount, my retainer check, she announced that she was resigning and she was going to another law firm. I was left with the choice of going with her or staying with the law firm who had my retainer. I knew I wasn't going to get it back. And I didn't have the money. Here I was going through a divorce, with one daughter and a house. I had very limited income. I decided to stay with the law firm, unfortunately, and she went someplace else. But I got passed around then from lawyer to lawyer to lawyer. Actually, 4 lawyers. The last lawyer that took my case, because the other 3 always did something wrong. And it's not that they were bad lawyers. They're just too busy. And they would overlook some of the most important things that left me hanging for months and months without any income coming in. And my ex-husband stealing money from our joint bank accounts and 401k. They did nothing to prevent that from happening. He literally stole about $60,000 from our joint accounts. And that law firm allowed it to happen. With all those 3 lawyers that took care of me, not one of them froze any of his accounts. Not one. I lost all of that money, never got it back. And of course, during that time, he wasn't paying any kind of support. It was horrible. And yeah, they never got him to pay anything. I had to hire a lawyer outside of that law firm, not only to get a divorce, but to get any money at all. But the final lawyer that I had, I'm not going to say his name, he took my case. But he was not a divorce lawyer, and he never did divorce me. I found out that he kept postponing my divorce. Probably because he was too busy with his other cases. He was not a divorce lawyer. I think he just took my case because he went through 3 lawyers. He didn't want to refund my money, right? And he just figured, either I'm going to end up leaving or he'll divorce me eventually, like after 10 years, right? So almost 3 years go by and I'm still not divorced. I fire him. I try to get my money back. Never happened. In fact, he had the audacity to bill me for a balance and then threaten to ruin my credit, which was perfect. I ended up borrowing money from my mother's friends, who was a lawyer. Who I didn't borrow it, actually. I thought I was borrowing it, but he gave it to me. He has since been deceased, but he was an attorney who worked at the law firm where my mother worked. He was retired, and he felt so bad for me that he ended up shelling out the last, I don't know, I think it was $12,000. Yes. I ended up having to hire another lawyer. And the other lawyer was actually a recommendation from a guy that I had met on Match.com who worked for a law firm. He wasn't quite a partner yet. But we dated for a while, but we were just very different people, but we stayed friends and stuff. And I ended up knowing his future girlfriend, and then he became a partner. And I said, listen, I need to get divorced, you know, and he recommended a lawyer at the law firm. His name was Bob Durst. Lovely, lovely man. He retired. I don't even know if he's still, you know, living. But it was a Princeton office, and yes, it was expensive. But this guy got me divorced in literally no time. He got me divorced in 6 months. He looked through my case, and he pulled me aside, and he said, there is no reason why your divorce lasted so long. You should have been divorced more than 2 years ago. Nobody was arguing about anything. I don't understand why it dragged out so long, but he got me divorced. Yes. He got me divorced in no time. Before Judge Locasio, who's since retired, a lot of people said that they didn't like him, that he was a tough guy, but I love that judge. He was hilarious and strict and firm and animated, and he laid it into my ex-husband. My ex-husband was crying in the hallway on divorce day, and as soon as that judge told me that I was divorced, I was like shaking in my seat, smiling. I jotted down the time. And, I was so excited after 3.5 years of not getting a divorce from the other law firm. So guys, for all you people that say that maybe it was revenge, you never know. I certainly pissed off a lot of lawyers in my lifetime. That lawyer didn't like me. Well, he did like me initially, but he didn't like the fact that I fired him, that I reported him, and that I found out that he kept postponing my appearances with the judges' chambers. That's certainly a possibility. But there have been other people, like my ex-husband's divorce lawyer. You know, after, you know, I had to file pro se after my divorce, and my ex-husband had this horrible lawyer. He's in Red Bank. What a piece of crap he was. I hope he's unalive now. I have a feeling, you know, bad people just tend to live forever. But he did not like me. He didn't like me one bit because he was lying in front of the judge. And I called him out on his lies with evidence, and he just didn't like that very much. So it could have been him. But then there were even people before that. There was this woman named Dawn, who was introduced to me by a bunch of celebrity folks who, she was just very jealous and envious and backstabbing of me. And I finally said something to one of her friends, and from that point forward, things were never the same between us, and I've lost all contact with them. But they started treating me as like that they were quote-unquote gang stalkers. They started treating me like that with those same behaviors. And then, of course, there's the feral cat cartel. I know for sure, 100%, that they targeted me. Because one of the BITCHES, Maria, her husband is a retired cop, and I saw her leaving my block the day that my house was broken into, and my shoes were stolen, and the cat door to my shed was shattered. And she doesn't live anywhere near me. She lives 45 minutes away, down South Jersey. So I'm responding to some of your questions and comments. Like, a lot of the things that are happening to me does happen to you and doesn't happen to you. And why it's so alarming to you about some of the things that are happening to me. Because yes, there are powerful people that have been in my life that hate my guts. But this is the way I look at it. Do you know how many people I don't like? Gee, if I don't like you, I want nothing to do with you. I don't want that energy around me. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to look at you. I don't want to remember you. And that's it. Go on my merry way. But What's wrong with these people is they hold a grudge. They hold a grudge, they're entitled, they're spoiled, selfish, personality disordered, and want to inflict as much harm as possible because they get off on it. They hide in the shadows. And I will tell you for a fact that those people who I just mentioned, except for the feral cat cartel because they're low-class trash, every one of them is low-class trash. The other people who are allegedly upstanding, attractive, physically attractive, highly intelligent, and affluent people, okay? Highly intelligent, affluent, and I'm going to add influential. So yes, to answer your question, there are a couple of people out there, revenge for hire. In my case, I will only state that there are people who are highly influential, intelligent, resourceful, financially resourceful, that likely paid to have me in this program. Because what is happening to me is totally off the charts. And I know that a lot of this stuff, some of this is happening to other people. I know another woman who, a lot of this is happening to her too, and she was married to a police officer. So she divorced him. So a lot of this is retaliatory. So anyway, I'm going to sum this up again. Predictive policing, well, guess what? I can predict when a cop's going to get sued, when he's going to get fired, and when there's going to be a lawsuit, and when all of the YouTube creators out there that are exposing them will expose them. InfraGard, they're part of the problem. Research InfraGard in your state. Yes, they're microchipping your genitals. Yes, there are wires in your ground to target you. The Waste Connection truck, blue truck, is harassing me. There's a trade embargo to the U.S. in the not-too-distant future on toys, appliances, palm oil, rice, tea, chemicals, steel, generators, wires, and batteries, so please stock up now on those things. And popcorn is good. Popcorn, he's around. He went out to play today. He hasn't come back yet. But Paws is being tortured. And he is dying. And they have planned for him to die on Christmas. This will be probably the third or fourth cat that they have planned to die on Christmas. Or Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's. And at some point I will do a video exposing every cat that they tortured and what they did. Unfortunately, YouTube will not permit me to post the photos of that. I might have to make it private and invite you to view it. So, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. Please hit the thumbs up on this. I really appreciate it. Merry Christmas to everybody. And welcome newcomers. Remember to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so that you receive notifications. Signing off for now.